Hello everyone, and welcome back to Stellaris with me, Mavernell. I'm here today to talk to you about a couple of mods. The first of which I want to talk about, can't really go into and look at it, but oh, it is so good. I'm going to provide the link down to it below, a link to all the mods down below that I'm going to be talking about today. It is called Shut Up, We Don't Care. And basically all those notifications you get, where it's like, oh, so and so made such and such treaty, blah 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 blah. All just blocks them. They don't exist anymore. So if that annoys you and you don't care about that, then that's the mod for you. I'll have it in the description down below. It's very simple mod. As far as I've been able to tell, you can just add it to a game you're currently playing, and it won't interfere with anything. It's pretty compatible with everything, I think, with most things, at least. So shouldn't be any problems there. And moving on to a mod a bit more relevant to the screen I have up now is the Dedicated Planets mod. Basically, this mod allows you to dedicate planets to a certain thing. Right now, I'm actually attempting to turn my home planet into an ecumenopolis. And for those that don't know, that is a planet-wide city like Coruscant from Star Wars. And basically, what that does is it increases the amount of energy credits the place produces, and I get plus 25 energy credits, plus 25%, and then plus 25% on all my research. But I get minus 2% happiness, minus 25% food, plus 7% ethics divergence, and minus 25% minerals, as well as apparently minus 10% growth time. All in all, it's pretty good. If you are going to use the Dedicated Planets mod, please use food import and export. Otherwise, you are going to regret it, because it's like you really need a mod that does food import and export. I'm going to include that mod in the description below as well, even though I've already done a mod spotlight on it, because oh my god, it is so necessary for this other mod to function. But ecumenopolises are not the only type of world you can make. You can make there's a whole list, and I think I actually have, yeah. All right, I've actually got one here. It is a trade world. And I think it's still developing. 2261-0207 is supposed to be when it's done. So that's about a year from now. So we won't be able to see it when. But I think it does reduce the amount of science I'm able to. Yes, here we go. Trade world, minus 75% science. For whatever reason, it's not showing up here. What it is. Oh, here we go. Yeah, no. Yeah, it won't. It's not showing. Oh, here it is. Trade world. All right, plus 5% minerals, plus 50% 5% energy credits, and then minus 75% on physics and engineering output. So you can still do a decent amount of the society research on these planets, these trade planets, but it's not going to be as good as on maybe, say, like a science planet. Let's go to this planet, and we'll take a look at all of the types of planets we can do. So you can develop a mining
System
world.
survey complete.
And this will develop infrastructure. I'm actually kind of disappointed in this, because I remember the tooltips for these being a lot more in-depth before. So, but basically these all have upsides and downsides. Like, for instance, a mining world is going to give you a bonus to minerals, but you're going to lose out on like food and research. Recruiting worlds are going to get you really good soldiers. Prison worlds are good for hard labor with slaves and whatnot. Trade worlds we already covered. Research, better for research, worse for pretty much everything else. Agri worlds will just produce crap tons of food. Fortress worlds, outpost worlds, all sorts of worlds. There is so much going on with this mod that makes it so wonderful, and you can just. And I feel like this is really good for like really huge wide empires, which is really the only kind of empire we have at the moment. Well, the only kind of viable empire we have at the moment in the game. But this is just fantastic. The customization is going to be really great, I think, here. And I've been really enjoying it. I've only just started modifying some of my planets into these particular worlds because I'm only just now getting into the mid game with this. But thus far, I really like this level of optimization that I'm allowed with my planets with this mod. But at any rate, I'm gonna include a link to this mod as well as food import and export, which I really strongly recommend to go along with this mod. All right, moving on to the next mod I want to cover here. And the next mod I want to talk about is called Yet Another Station Buff G's. Basically, all it does is it takes a station and it buffs health. It buffs all station hull points. It does this at 1.25% per year, up to 300% at year 240. So they sort of scale a little more throughout the game. So you can't just it definitely it lowers the viability of early game aggression, and it makes late game aggression a lot more punishing, which I really like. But I feel like stations aren't threatening enough, so I feel like this is a good. It's a step. It's a good little buff. So, yeah, and that's all it does. It just buffs your spaceport's health by a lot. And touching on another aspect of station defense, I wanted to go over the mod Space Defense Agency. Now this is a pretty extensive mod, and it's not going to be compatible with a lot of things. So check the compatibility list on the mod page, which will be linked below. And let's go ahead and get into it. You have a few buildings. You have 2 buildings and then a bunch of spaceport modifiers. I'm going to start with the buildings. The Space Defense Agency office can only be built after you have a Space Defense Agency HQ. This is an Empire unique building. This is a planet unique building. The HQ is Empire, the office is planet unique. And the office is mostly just, it lets you build more armies faster and gives them extra damage and gives you a buff to your planet fortification. The Space Defense Agency HQ allows the deployment of automated drone-based subspace interception squads, whatever that's supposed to mean. It basically, if an enemy fleet comes into your system, any of your systems, with a planet, basically any colonized system you have, if an enemy fleet comes in, it will spawn a fleet to slow them down. It's a pretty small fleet. It's not designed to beat whatever comes into your system. It's just designed to, keep it from destroying the system before you can get there, hopefully. Now, there are a few other things with this mod. We have some spaceport modules. I don't have access to all these spaceport modules, and I tried to build one there, but I do have access to 3 of them. You have Subspace Inhibitor, which lets you build a subspace. It basically just auto builds a subspace inhibitor for a little bit of maintenance fee. And then you have subspace fuel modulators, allied and hostiles. These all have a maintenance of. And we also have a few other things. We have a Space Defense Agency spaceport module. It puts an office module on the spaceport that allows their bureaucrats to work in relatively safely. It installs a shield module and attempts to operate a small military station just outside the planet's gravitational field. So it'll give a nice big old shield to your station. If you have enough SDA office buildings in your empire, the SDA will upgrade the station from platform to station to fortress and battle fortress with the NSC and Governor's Mansion over time automatically. If the station is destroyed, it will start out as a platform again, which is super cool, in my opinion. You can also put in a military hangar, which will let you have basically just space fighters, launch out of your thing, which is pretty neat. Both of those require spaceport level 5, and that's pretty much it for this mod. So I do rather like it that it increases the viability of spaceports, and it also, because the AI can use this, you're gonna see a lot more military stations, and it's gonna be harder to invade planets, and it fills out a spot that the base Stellaris game often just does not cover properly, in my opinion, which is solar system defense. Hopefully you also feel that this is the case and you want to go and download it. Go ahead and check it out. And that's pretty much it for planet, station defense, and all that this week. I might be looking at some mods next week that'll cover that as well, so we'll see about that. I do really like station and planet defense, and I feel like it needs to be expanded upon more. This is definitely with the yet another station buff, makes me feel a lot safer, and it also makes me feel like I'm gonna be punished more if I attack people. Anyhow, moving on. And for our final mod is something that I actually really like. It's more of sort of a background thing than anything that's super game changing, but it is a bit strange. And I moved to a different game for this because I already have a traveler in my other game, so I went to just some other game and added it to this one. And spoiled a little bit, but I am talking about the Destiny the Traveler mod. It is very much so in beta. Like they don't have everything they want figured out with it, but it does work a bit. And you can add it to a currently saved game by selecting a planet, and then I have it pasted here, eventtraveler.9999 will add it to your game. And you get this little pop-up here. Mysterious objects. Civilian ships in the system have reported sightings of a mysterious spherical object, initially believed to be a rogue planetoid. Further investigations have determined that the object is too smooth and uniform to be natural. It appears to move under its own will, and as such has been nicknamed the Traveler. Our scientists have linked the object to the extragalactic event, which occurred a year earlier, as a Traveler radiates the same energy previously detected. So there is apparently something that happens a bit earlier that heralds the coming of it. But if you start with this in a new game, it will spawn 50 years after the start of your game and start moving around and terraforming planets and uplifting species. It will terraform planets either. Let's just read the. Let's just read verbatim here. The Traveler will spawn around 50 years into the game. Yep, already covered that. Whenever the Traveler arrives in a new system, it will do one of four things. If the system is the capital A system of an empire, Traveler will orbit the star and grant the empire a golden age. What this encompasses, I'm not sure. Probably just a buff to a lot of your empire stats. If the system has a pre-FTL species living on its planets, the Traveler will orbit the star and uplift their civilization after a time, which is pretty cool. If the system is neither a capital system or is home to a pre-FTL civilization, but is inside an empire's borders, the Traveler will orbit a random and uninhabitable planet and terraform it to the ideal planet class of that empire. And if the system is outside any empire's borders and is not home to a pre-FTL civilization, the Traveler will orbit a random planet and terraform it into a Gaia-class planet, which is pretty swell, if I do say so myself. We got interesting, marvelous. Okay, observing the Traveler modifier added for 12 months, giving the following effects: research speed plus 10%, which is pretty sweet. And you do need the Leviathans mod for this, because it uses its assets, though it doesn't appear to be actually appearing here. So yeah, supposedly after some point it will just terraform this planet, which is pretty neat, if I do say so myself. Use this mod at your own risk, though, because it is in development. If you attack the Traveler, it supposedly breaks its AI, and it's bad. So keep that in mind. I'll provide a link down below as per the usual. And that's going to wrap it up for me this week. If you enjoy these mod videos, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Or if you didn't enjoy it, you know, thumbs down is right over there. Comment if you have tried any of these mods, or if you have any mods that you in particular want me to check out. And subscribe if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing on my channel, including these mod spotlights. Alright. Have a good time. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.